let's take it all the way. Who planned this operation? Should we be doing this? This mission is not making sense at all. You signed to him, and then you immediately went to jail. Alleged armed takeover. And then you got out, and now you immediately back in jail. Did Gucci Mane snitch? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Radio here, and we are back with another video. I heard some very interesting news. The rapper Pooh Shiesty got arrested for kidnapping and robbing Gucci Mane and 2 other people. The interesting part is Pooh Shiesty is signed to Gucci Mane. He's signed to the 1017 label, and apparently he wanted out of the contract. He lured Gucci to a studio in Dallas and pulled guns on him with like 8 other people, or maybe he was part of the 8, so 7 other people, and made Gucci sign a contract that released him from 1017. Now, anybody with a brain can tell you any contract signed under duress is null and void completely, and it's gonna get thrown out of court when challenged. Then it's not even a legal document, and nothing has changed for the status of Pooh Shiesty, and he's still signed under 1017. So all of this for nothing. But I guess they thought they were in a movie, and they thought they could just pull guns, have someone sign the documents, and just nothing's gonna happen, and they're gonna get everything they want. Let's watch the news coverage of this.
All right, a live look at Dallas on this Thursday evening. Our next story takes us to Dallas, where federal prosecutors there have charged Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty and 8 others with robbing 3 men at gunpoint and kidnapping them at a Dallas record studio.
Okay, so it was Pooh Shiesty and 8 others. That's a gang of people, man. It's crazy. And I think they're going to mention it, or maybe they won't mention it. Some of them got down to Dallas by Greyhound buses. Talk about a paper trail, huh?
Earlier this year, the court documents only refer to the victims by their initials. One victim, called RD, is described as the owner of the 1017 record label, which was founded by Grammy-nominated rapper Gucci Mane, whose real name is Roderick Davis. DOJ saying that the incident began with a dispute over a record contract. Fox 4 Dallas reporter David Sentendry is here with more. David, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, I can tell you this was disguised as a traditional business meeting inside a recording studio, but then it turned into an ambush.
Go make your bed.
Lontrell Williams Jr., a well-known rapper by the stage name Pooh Shiesty, was on house arrest.
This is off topic, but what a name. Pooh Shiesty. I feel like if your name is Shiesty, you just automatically will be up to no good just to live up to your name. If you name yourself Shiesty, I feel like you wouldn't ever want to do good, ever. I don't know, man, because I feel like if you try to be a rapper and like try to make a living for yourself and bring some homies up, you wouldn't act Shiesty, would you? So I don't know. It's what a name. What a name, Pooh Shiesty.
Firearms conviction related to drug trafficking when the Department of Justice says he led a group to rob and kidnap 3 people inside a Dallas recording studio back in January. The motive? So Pooh Shiesty could get out of a record contract with rapper Gucci Mane's label, the new 1017 Records.
We're not talking about low-level rappers here, guys who are trying to make it.
TMZ tells Fox 4 to let go of Pooh Shiesty would have been a financial blow to Gucci Mane's record label.
He had a lot of artists under his label, and then he made a decision that he was going to let go a lot of those artists. One of the very few, though, that he held on to happened to be Pooh Shiesty.
Because Pooh Shiesty makes money, and it's he's one of the few big names he was one of the few big names that was left in hip hop. And we're going to get into a discussion about that in a little bit. But
because, again, Pooh Shiesty is somebody who's got a lot of fans. He's got hit music, and certainly somebody that Gucci Mane could be profitable.
According to a criminal complaint, Pooh Shiesty was upset with contract terms. Surveillance images show Pooh Shiesty, his father, and 7 others before they enter the studio. Once inside, Pooh Shiesty pulled what appeared to be a black AK-style pistol, pointing it at the head of a victim, labeled RD, demanding RD sign contractual release paperwork. RD complied. Gucci Mane's legal name, Roderick Davis, matches those initials.
The victims in this case came to Dallas to conduct legitimate business, and they were met with firearms and violence.
That wasn't the end of it. The feds say the group robbed the victims of expensive jewelry and cash.
One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point.
You already, they're up to no good. I love how they say let's take it all the way. Not only we're gonna pull guns on Gucci Mane and make him sign a null and void contract, which still is like it boggles my mind. It's like nobody ever told them, hey, the way you're doing it is not gonna hold up in court. The way you're doing it is not gonna. All they have to do is go home and challenge it, and you're back where you started. Not even just stupidity all around. So not only that, but you also say, okay, we did that. Let's also rob them just to rub it in their face. Let's just rob them and hurt them a little bit just so we can feel good about ourselves.
Point of near unconsciousness.
Pooh Shiesty lives in Frisco, according to the complaint, but investigators say most of the alleged accomplices traveling from Memphis, Tennessee, were staying at a Dallas hotel the day of the ambush, including accomplice Rodney Wright Jr., a rapper with the stage name Big 30. Social media post reportedly shows suspect Terrence Rogers wearing a variety of jewelry believed to be stolen during the robbery.
Which is crazy to me. You rob them, and then you start taking pictures for Instagram. Like, they do anything for clout, man. Clout is hell of a drug. Also, who planned this operation? I think the feds are alleging that Pooh Shiesty's dad planned the operation. What a sloppy mission. Not only some of them got down by Greyhound, they stayed at a hotel that was in the same city they did the crime in. I feel like you would drive from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas, and you would stay away. You would stay like a city or two over. But I guess they didn't want to make the drive, They didn't want to make the drive. They didn't want to do any of that. They wanted to do it the easiest way possible.
And stolen sneakers. There's also a post highlighting a large amount of cash. Footage from Memphis shows federal investigators collecting evidence at the home of Pooh Shiesty's father, Vontrell Williams Sr. That was on Wednesday, the day most suspects were arrested.
We remain committed to investigating violent crimes like these.
We mentioned Pooh Shiesty lives in Frisco. That's a suburb of Texas. Again, Frisco is about 30 minutes north of Dallas, where Pooh Shiesty lives. He actually lives in an apartment right next to the Dallas Cowboys training facility. Everyone else involved is believed to have come from out of town during this event. Again, 9 people, 9 suspects.
Which makes it a interstate crime. You're bringing the feds in it automatically. That's another thing. It's like you couldn't even find people in Texas to do your dirty work for you. You would have to get the homies from Memphis. I guess Pooh Shiesty can't go to Memphis, so he would have to do it in Texas. You see how many barriers are in this mission? At what point should you just stop and be like, hey, this is getting very, very stupid. This mission is not making sense at all. Should we be doing this?
Talking about 8 of them in custody. Feds still looking for one more who's believed to possibly be in Georgia. Austin?
David Sentendry with us tonight. David, always appreciate you. You heard a little bit of the press conference in David's piece. Let's play the full thing out from the beginning. Here it is.
I'm Ryan Rabel. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. 8 of the 9 were arrested yesterday in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. These individuals who are charged and arrested include Vontrell Williams Jr., also known as Pooh Shiesty, Vontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., also known as...
I can already hear this used as an intro or something when Pooh Shiesty gets out and he's out for revenge or something. I can already hear this on the intro, dude.
Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel.
If he ever gets out, these are serious, crazy charges. This is not... The only thing worse would be if they just started killing. If they killed Gucci or one of his bodyguards or anything. That's that. They went all the way up, but at some point they stopped. But if they wanted to go all the way, they could have just killed. They were almost there, but thank God. Do anything crazy.
And Terrence Rogers has not been arrested yet, but will be soon. The complaint alleges that on January 10th of this year, 3 music industry professionals traveled to Dallas for a scheduled business meeting. Vontrell Williams Jr. arranged this meeting purportedly to discuss the terms of his recording contract with one of the victims. As alleged, Once these three men were inside the recording studio, Williams Jr. and 8 co-conspirators, several of whom traveled from Memphis, Tennessee, executed a coordinated armed takeover. As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an...
I love it when sometimes the crimes described just go insane. Alleged armed takeover. That's like such an insane phrase. He didn't say they pulled guns on him. They performed an alleged arms takeover. That's pretty crazy. Crazy way to put it.
K-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint. The remaining conspirators displayed firearms and robbed the other victims of Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other high-value items. One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness. Defendant Wright barricaded the studio door with his body to prevent the victims from escaping. The ringleader of the conspiracy, Lontrell Williams Jr., was on home confinement at the time of the offense, as alleged, for a prior firearms conspiracy charge and conviction out of the Southern District of Florida.
That's another thing. My man, you're on house arrest. You're on house arrest. You don't know anybody from Texas, and you still decide to do all this. You still decide to plan this whole thing out, which is why? Like, is it really worth it to be out of contract with Gucci? You couldn't have worked anything out with him. Also, how bad is it to be signed to Gucci? I feel like it's not as bad. It can't be worse than any other major label. If anything, Gucci would understand. He would throw you a bone here and there. The split may be fucked up, but you signed to him and then you immediately went to jail. And then you got out and now you immediately back in jail. I don't know if it has been alleged that Pooh Shiesty did this to sign to Yo Gotti, which makes Yo Gotti one of the most evil villains of hip hop today. Not only he had beef with Young Dolph, and then Young Dolph suddenly just got killed. Now he's putting his fingers in this deal. And Pooh Shiesty was so enamored with Yo Gotti that he had to do this, allegedly. He's not charged yet. If I may speculate for a little bit, what a crazy turn of events.
Towards the end of his prison sentence, he had been granted home detention. Part of the terms of his home detention were that he would not commit another federal offense or possess a firearm. His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., is alleged to have helped plan and execute the federal kidnapping as charged in the complaint. And as described further in the complaint, within hours of leaving the Dallas studio, a number of the defendants were on social media displaying some of the items that appeared to be the jewelry that had been robbed from the victims. The charging document outlines some of the evidence, just some, establishing the defendants' roles in the federal offense. This is as follows. Electronic monitoring data placing Williams Jr. at the offense location, which would put him in violation of his home detention conditions.
I didn't even catch that. I totally missed that part. You could, my man, why would you have to do this? Why? Like, everything about this mission, everything about this plan reeks of stupidity. How could you even look at the whole thing, look at the step-by-step plan, invite Gucci to studio, get my goons to the studio, go to the studio and break house arrest, bring guns and weapons that I cannot possess and I can't be around, intimidate Gucci Mane to signing a contract under duress, that which makes it null and void, rob Gucci and the people with him, choke out and hurt one of the people that is with Gucci, and then just leave. Question mark, a profit. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Cell phone records and license plate reader data corroborating the coordinated travel of multiple defendants from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas. Rental car records confirming Williams Sr. rented a vehicle that was used by the group. Surveillance footage from the offense location, a nearby office supply store, and a hotel where several of the defendants stayed following the offense. Fingerprint evidence as well that was recovered from the crime scene, matching at least 2 of the defendants. Social media posts by defendants displaying what appears to be stolen property just in the days following the offense.
This is cherry on top.
Bus records confirming the travel of multiple defendants from Dallas to Memphis
Greyhound
the day
bus
after
records.
the offense. The victims in this case came to Dallas to conduct legitimate business, and they were met with firearms and violence as alleged in the charging document. This case should serve as a warning to others who believe that using violence and intimidation tactics to rob others in our community is a viable way to conduct business. I'm here to say that it is not, and that if you choose to do this, we will, together with our law enforcement partners here, and the other ones in the Northern District of Texas, will bring you swiftly to justice.
What a weird turn of events, huh? Now, there has been the question, I wanna ponder on this a little bit. Did Gucci Mane snitch? And when is it okay to talk to the police? I think there's some people believe you never should talk to the police if you're a gangster, if you're involved in street life and all that. But we all know Gucci Mane, he cleaned up his image, he cleaned up himself. Is it appropriate for him to speak to the police when his life was under threat? And did he go seek out the police, or the police came to him and he had no lust for the guy who robbed him and pulled the gun on him? Yeah, I'll describe him, right? He didn't call him. I think one of the Gucci's bodyguards, which was there, he was a former cop, and he kind of initiated this whole investigation after they got guns pulled on him. It's just crazy, man. Whether or not Gucci should have snitched, I don't think it matters. It's self-preservation. No street code should be as important as your life. Because what are you loyal to? You're loyal to a set of rules that are so arbitrary that get people killed all the time and gets them in trouble all the time. For what? So you can commit more crimes? And also, Gucci's been loyal. He did his time and he got out. And he wants to do business the proper way. Should he not talk to the police when stuff like this happens? When all he wants to do is just live a regular life and make music and try to profit off music? Especially in a time where hip hop is dying as far as terms of popularity. It's not as dominant anymore. The quality of the songs are down. The impact of the music is down. And if you're not a Kendrick or a J. Cole or any sort of big established name, it's very, very hard to make a wave, to kind of get recognition. And it's so fragmented at this point that an up-and-coming hip-hop artist needs to fight tooth and nail just to be able to make it somewhere. So all of this is happening, and you still sitting there and thinking, oh, I'm Pooh Shiesty. I got all these things going for me. People love my music, and I'm semi-established, even though I've been in and out of jail. And you just got out. You got out like what, 6 months ago? And instead of trying to use that time to kind of further your goals and aspirations, you pull out a gun on your boss effectively just for him to sign you out of the contract. Wasted potential. Actions at such stupid levels that it's incomprehensible. I don't even know how they came up with this plan and nobody questioned it ever. And all right, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.